Alright, so in past videos I've talked about master keying, and there's been some questions that have arisen, and I will attempt to go slower and explain it better as I go through this. Hopefully this will answer the people's questions, and if it does, fantastic. If it doesn't and you still have questions, by all means hit me up in the comments and I will attempt to further explain it in the comments. And if it's still not clear enough, I will make another video to answer any questions that may arise. So sit back and enjoy. Hello and welcome back to Detorno Does. Today we're back doing locksmithing. We have a customer that brought in their own locks. They have some deadbolts for some apartments that they have. And then they have an outside handle for the hallway that goes to these 3 apartments. They want the apartments to be master keyed with their own change key. And then they want the door to the hallway gang keyed so that the master key works it and all 3 apartments work it. Once again, I've advised against it, but at the end of the day, you inform the customer of best practices, and if they still want to do something, as long as it's not illegal, you give the customer what they want. Alright, so here we have the customer's locks. There's 2 sets of 2 deadbolts that they want keyed alike, and then master keyed. There's 1 deadbolt that is keyed by itself, and they want it to be on their master, and then they provided this handle set for the outside door for the hallway, and they want all 3 of these apartments to work this lock plus their master key. It's called gang keying when you have multiple keys from different doors that work one door. So like the outside door to a hallway in an apartment building, for example. So when I'm done, these will all be individually keyed. The customer's master key will work it, and then everyone's key will work this handle set. So let's move stuff out of the way and get started. Alright, so they have their pairs wrapped in saran wrap or whatever it is, so we'll try and not cut that so that we can wrap the 2 locks back up with it and keep everything together. Okay, so we have these 2 locks. All right. So let's get this lock apart. Okay. take the manufacturer's key. In order to turn the lock, you take a follower and you push it in, pushing the cylinder out. You can see there's all the pins for the combination of this lock for the keying. So this would have been 62765, and that corresponds to the length of the pins. So I need to get all the pins out. Those, you can see they're different lengths, and they do have a point on them. So these are all bottom pins. They're different lengths. They all are the same color because it is a manufacturer's lock, and it was keyed at the manufacturer, so they don't change pin color. So we need to key up the customer's key. So on the pin kit, there was a question about the colors of the pins. So this is a universal kit. So this is a universal kit. It will do multiple manufacturer's locks, and it will key them. So if you go and look, there are different manufacturers here. There's Corbin Russwin, which has several, which gets very confusing. So we'll just leave it at that. There's several. Schlage, Dexter, Kwikset, Weiser, Arrow, Ilko, Gale, Lori, Siegel, Westlock, Sargent. So there's several different locks that are listed on this chart. You can also, if you know the bidding, even if it's not on here, there is enough variety of pins in this kit. So this kit here runs from 0.010 for a top pin all the way to 0.200 top pin, and it does it in 0.003 increments. So this is 0.30, 0.030, then 0.033, 0.036, 0.039. So each step, each cup is 0.003 different than the cup before it. And then the same thing with the bottom pins. So it starts with a 0.156 bottom, and it goes all the way to 0.360 bottom. So, and this is in inches. So, in order to help more quickly find the pin you're looking at, the manufacturer changes the color. So there's never two greens next to each other. So they rotate the colors. And then if you look at the pinning, the number in the chart will have the corresponding color. Okay, so for the Schlage, for example, all in this pin kit, all the bottom pins are supposed to be green. Then you have the different colors for the master pins, and then this is your top pins. So if you were using a 0 through 3 bottom pin, you would use a 237 top pin. If you're using a 4 through 6, you would use the 200. And if you're using 7 through 9, you'd use a 165. And those numbers there would be your total pin stack. So if you were just keying a single key and you had a 9, then you would use a 165. If you were master keying and you had a 3 on the bottom pin, so you had a 3 on the bottom pin, and then you had a 6 on the top pin, well, that would still be a 9. So you would go and use the 165 top pin. So these numbers here are your cuts on your key. So that tells you how deep that V groove is in the key. And then if you didn't have a way to decode the key, this number here will tell you if you were to take a micrometer and you were to grab a key, so if you look where we're in the key, we know that the first cut is the number 6 because is the factory key and it's stamped that way. And then we would measure, see what the key came out, and it is 2.44 is what this is reading. So we would look at this chart and see what is close. And 2.45, and that tells us it's the number 6. So, that's another way to find out what the cuts on the key are. An easier way is to use a key gauge like this. So this slot here, is Schlag. So we take that same key, and we put it in, and it slides down, and where it stops, that is the cut, and so that is also says it's a number 6. So everything agrees. Okay, so here we have the plug part of the lock. So this is the part that the key goes in, and we need to key this so that the master key works it, and the tenant's key, which would be, it's called a change key when you're doing a master key system. So you have the master key and a change key. So we need to put a series of bottom pins in and the series of master pins in the lock in order for both keys to work it. I went over the colors on the pin kit and explained that with this kit, this is a lab kit. At least in the United States, Lab is the biggest player in pin kits. The increments are in thousandths of an inch. Other places in the world, they may go millimeters. I don't know. If they do, I'm not familiar with those pin kits, but I know over in Europe, Silka is a big key manufacturer, and such. So if you're not in the United States, your mileage may vary. So we need to, like I said, put the bottom pins in, and then master pins, and then we'll slide it back into the lock, and we will test the keys. So let me get this keyed up. So we have bottom pin, and when you're keying it, you can do it one of two ways. You can either do it each chamber, you can do each chamber separately, or you can put all your bottom pins in and then all your master pins in. I generally prefer to do all bottom and then all master, but you can do it however. It doesn't matter which way you go when doing it. So there's that one. So again, points down. Okay. Now we need the master pins for this. So with a Schlage lock, which this is, there is 15 thousandths difference between each pin. So a 0 will be 165, like you saw on the chart. 180 for a 1, 195 for a 2, etc. And then on the Schlags, you can't have a 0 master pin because that's no master pin. And you can't have a 1. The Schlage pinning won't allow you to have a 1 difference. So the first master pin that you could possibly have would be a 2, which would be 30 thousandths. So now we need the next master pin. Okay, so we have all the pins in, and we take and we slide it back in the lock, and then manually turn the lock back. And if you listen, you can hear all the pins drop into the chambers. You can hear all the top pins click into the chambers. So now we will try their master key, and that works. And now we will try the change key. The tenants key, and it works as well. Let me put this lock back together. confirm the master key still works. And what we're doing is we're also testing, as if you remember on another video I mentioned that put your thumb up against the next to the key if the key won't come out. So basically I just make sure that I'm not, and make sure the key comes out easily. So there's one lock, one deadbolt that is keyed and master keyed, and we have another one to do for this apartment. So I will just put you on fast motion, and as I key up the 3 deadbolts, and I'll slow it back down again when I'm doing the lever set for the outside door. So here we go. Okay, so now we have all the deadbolts keyed, all the keys work, and now we're on to Ganking this outside handle. Alright, so we just put bottom pins in that we need. And thankfully this is only 3 doors in the master. It's only the last chamber that is going to be gang keyed. By only having the last chamber gang keyed, it's going to lessen the chance that there'll be a lot of keys that will accidentally work this lock. Okay. So there's that. And we try everybody. There's the master key. It works. Apartment 1. It works. Apartment 2. It works. And apartment 3. It also works. So all the keys work this lock. Let me just put it back together. And it's all back together.